Hello, my friends. In today's video, we're going to talk all about sound walls. I know that we've kind of been hearing about them in this place and that place, but in this video, it's going to be just like a mini PD something, that you can watch real quick to get a better understanding. But if you want to learn, about sound walls and get a better understanding of the latest craze, just continue to watch. Okay, so like I said in this video, we're going to be learning all about sound walls, what they are, why they're important, and all that good stuff. So we're going to break this down into three little sections. The first section, we're going to talk about the science of sound walls, and then we're going to dive into the phonetics. And then after we dive into the phonetics a little bit, we're going to go into building an actual sound wall. Now, before we get into building, I'm just going to preface this by saying this is what works for me, and this is kind of my understanding. Some other people might give you some more information that I'm not aware of yet, but I'm just teaching you to the best of my abilities because that's all I can do. Okay? All right, so let's get started. The science of sound walls. Let's get started. Here we go. All right. So, what is a sound wall? A sound wall is a tool that is used to support students by focusing on articulation of sounds. All right. Sound walls also support the letter and letter patterns that represent sounds and phonemes in words. Now, we're going to be hearing a lot of the words phoneme and grapheme throughout this presentation. As we move a little further along, I'm going to explain the difference between a phoneme and grapheme and kind of what they are. We're going to look at some examples. But for now, I know if I was a first year teacher and I'm hearing all this science of reading talk, I would be confused on phoneme and grapheme too, because you hear it a lot. But we're going to dive into that just a little bit later. All right. So I know we've probably seen this. If you've letters trained, you've seen this chart, the simple view of reading, you've seen it everywhere. Why is this important and how does it apply to reading? Okay. Well, you're going to have word recognition and then take language comprehension, and you're going to put those things together and you're going to get reading comprehension. But if we break word recognition down just a little bit more, what does it mean? It means our phonological awareness, our phonics, and our fluency. Those are our basics, okay? Now, once we move into our language comprehension, what does that look like in our classrooms, okay? Those are our passages, our read alouds, our vocabulary, all those skills that we're introducing to kids, all right? Then we got our language concepts, our nouns, our adjectives, all of those important skills that you're teaching the meaning of these words in a sentence and why they are placed here. Then we go into communication. That's our writing. So we're trying to create a complete reader here. So we have all that basic of learning the sounds, and then we have all this way that we apply the sounds and apply our reading, and we put all of that together, and we got reading comprehension. You're able to understand what you are reading. Okay, but before you get into all of this, we must know and understand that phonological awareness must come first. You cannot skip this step, and we're going to go into the next phase and we're going to understand why. Okay, because when we look at Erie's phases of word reading development, you have 4 phases that children typically go through to understand and become better readers. Okay, first they're in the pre-alphabetic phase. That means that they don't have any phoneme grapheme connection, and they're just using incidental visual cues. For example, they might see an S and say, "That's an S," or they're able to repeat the alphabet song back to you, but then if you show them a card or something, they have no clue what it is. So they have no phoneme grapheme connection at all. All right. Now, as they move into this early alphabetic phase, okay, they have some phonemic awareness. That means we're talking about early pre-K, kindergarten. They're getting there, they're learning, okay? They have some phoneme grapheme connections, but they have very little decoding ability. Okay, so they're able to recognize some sounds, they're able to write and represent some sounds, but decoding, blending to get there, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Okay, now as they get into the later alphabetic phase, they have complete phonemic awareness. Okay, so I know some of you guys might have heard of Heggerty, or might use Heggerty in your classroom. This is why Heggerty is important, because it's very important for them to be able to substitute sounds, map sounds out, tap sounds out, replace that segment, and blend words. All of that stuff that you focus on doing during using Heggerty, this is why it's important, okay? And they have phoneme, grapheme correspondence. That means they're able to hear the word and write it. Phoneme, grapheme, okay? And they have early sight recognition. So not only do they have phoneme, grapheme correspondence, now they are moving to the phase where they're able to pick it up and memorize it. They're getting to that sight because they have known and practiced those phoneme, grapheme, for a while. Okay, now once we get into that consolidated phase, all right, we're talking about readers. They're decode proficiently by sound, syllable, morpheme, whole word, families, analogies. They're able to read. So a child is going to have to go through all of these phases of reading development before they become a reader. Now they might bounce back and forth into some of these phases as they get introduced to new sounds, but they're going to go through all of these phases as they become readers. Okay? I know that was a lot. Let's keep going. Okay, so why are we getting rid of word walls? Why are they going away? They were so convenient. They were so cute. Why are we getting rid of them? The sound wall is so much work. It takes so much to put it up. Take the word wall down. Okay, so let's look at this word wall. What happens if we put the word city under C? We just put it there because it begins with a C. But what does it sound like? Okay, that's why we're saying goodbye to word walls and hello sound walls, because on the sound wall, not only would that sound be represented under that mouth placement, so now when you introduce, they're going to say kit, or whatever, they're going to make something up to say to use that k sound. But it doesn't go there, all right? So now they can go under that S and they can see that, you can also use the sound with the C, okay? And this is why. That's why it's important for you to teach them rules. Teach them the rules. So, all right, that's why we're going to move away from word walls to be like, bye, and tell sound walls, hello, how you doing? I'm doing good. Okay, I'm gonna put you in my classroom. All right, I know that was a lot of information to take in. All right, let's talk about a phoneme and a grapheme. Okay, what is a phoneme? A phoneme is the smallest unit of speech phoneme that can change a word's meaning. So if we look at the word among and along and formally and formerly, you see how those phonemes completely change the meaning of a word? That's why when we pull our kids in small group, we have to be watching their mouths to see how they are forming those words so we know where to correct them. Now, I know that was a lot. Now, let's take a break. Now, let's get into the phonetics. All right. Let's study our language for a little bit. I'm just going to give you a few quick tips just for you to remember and keep in the back of your brain as you're going through this sound wall training, or PD in PJs. All right, so students often become weak readers because phonemic awareness is neglected instructionally. We don't see the importance of Heggerty, so we're not doing it. We don't see the importance of teaching them rhyming words, so we're not doing it. It's important, okay? We have to learn phonemes. We, as teachers, as educators, have to learn phonemes and become metalinguistic to teach phonemic awareness to others. So we first have to understand these phonemes and these rules before we are able to teach it to our kids. we have to understand it first. We have to understand the rules. We have to understand the placements. We have to understand how they're read in words before we can teach it to our kids. Like, that's our responsibility. Okay? Reading depends on spoken language, dialects, accents, your ESL students. Okay? Reading depends on spoken language. So it's some problems or some challenges that they're going to face because of their spoken language. They're going to have some gaps in their reading because of their spoken language. Okay? All right. I'm going to say it again, because of their spoken language. All right. Phonemic proficiency is necessary for reading proficiency. We can't just tell kiddos, sound the word out. What if they don't know what the sound is? Okay, that goes back into that metalinguistic. We have to first understand before we can help them understand. That's our job as educators, okay? All right, so now let's get into some sound relationships, some things you just need to keep in the back of your head. Nasal sounds distort the vowel. Think, can, pink. Your nasals are M, N, and NG. Those are going to distort the way that sounds are in the word. So when you have a student tap it out, okay, they're going to say the short vowel sound in their word, but because it is attached to a nasal, it is going to distort how that vowel sounds in the word. Okay, so that's going to be important for students when they're reading and learning how to graph out those words and spell those words. Okay. Fricative sounds often have common sounds confusion. What are fricatives, girl? F and V, the two sounds of TH, your S and your Z, like in treasure. Okay, that's going to cause some confusions among your kids because of mouth placement. Okay, all right, and don't let them have a tongue tie and stuff like that. That's where it comes in. Okay, glides always glide into a vowel. As liquids change placement in words, they feel different in your mouth. What are your liquids? Your liquids are your L, your T. They're going to change in your mouth. Okay? All vowels are voiced, open, and continuous. That's where syllabication comes into play. Okay? When you're talking about CVC, the reason why that vowel stopped is because of that other consonant. But if you do not put that consonant at the end of that CVC word, it is going to be open and continuous. It's going to keep going and going and going and going and going. That's why it's important to teach syllabication. But all vowels are voiced. That means you're going to hear them. They're open, which means they're going to say their name, okay? And they're continuous. They're going to keep going until you close it with another consonant. All right? That's why it's important to teach syllabication. All right, let's get into this last little piece, and we're going to talk about building a sound wall. Now, I just want to preface this by saying that all sound walls are not going to look the same. You're going to see different pictures and variations of them everywhere. But at the end, we're just going to go over a couple of essentials that are like going to be very important to the sound wall. So let's start with the vowel valley. Now, you want to make sure that you put your schwa down the middle in those various spellings of that. And your vowels are going to be placed on your wall by order of articulation, okay? So your tongue position, front, mid, back, your tongue height, high, low, and your lip shape, rounded or unrounded. All of that goes into a factor of how your vowels are placed on your vowel valley. Now, not pictured here in the video is a reference card, like a picture reference card, and then all of the spellings of that vowel under that reference card, okay? Or all the spellings of that sound under that reference card. Now, when we go into the consonant wall, here's the suggestion. You can put lips together, teeth on lip, tongue between teeth, tongue behind top teeth, lips rounded, pull back, your back of your tongue lifted, and the back of your throat. All of that is your mouth placement. You can also have your your consonants in rows by the type of sound. So you got your stops, your nasals, your fricatives, your affricates, your glides, and your liquids. Okay, so that'll be your columns. And then in each little section is how the mouths are placed. Okay. Now, also in these, you want to put a reference card, sound reference card, and you want to put all of the sound spellings of that word. Here's a bit of a glimpse of a completed consonant wall. As you can see, it has the picture reference and all of the spellings of that sound under it. Okay, so it looks like a lot. That's why I say sometimes this grid can be a lot for teachers, and they just decide, and you see the same thing with the vowel valley, all of the spellings. Now, sometimes this grid can be a lot for teachers, but the goal is to make sure that we at least have the sounds listed by type. So you want to put all your stops together, all your nasals together, all your fricatives together, all your affricates together, all your glides together, all your liquids together, all of that. Okay. Now, this last little piece of information. Here's what I really want you to keep in mind. When you are listing putting up your consonant wall, you want to make sure that you reference the unvoiced sound, or you put the unvoiced sound first and then you put the voice sound. Some teachers like to put the picture card on the top and then the sounds on the bottom. You still want to make sure that you have like mouth picture card, and then you have unvoiced and voice sound. You want to always make sure you represent the unvoiced before the voice. You also want to always make sure you have a picture reference card under that. So for F, we could say fire, or V, we could say volcano. You always want to make sure that you put a picture sound, like a reference card under your sound. All right. You also want to make sure that you put all the sound spellings up. What you don't want to do is come and try to build your sound wall as the year is progressing. You really don't want to do that. You want to just go ahead and just put everything up and cover them until you introduce them. Because I'm telling you, we know how the school year gets. We know we run out of time. We know we don't have a lot. We got a lot going on, especially in those first couple of months and in those last couple of months. So what you want to make sure you just put it up, because it's much easier just to go and just post it off of the wall versus trying to dig and find, where did I put it? I cleaned up for the holidays. I don't remember where I put it. Just go ahead and put the whole thing up. That way the only thing you have to do is just uncover the post-it. Okay. All right. That's all I have for you guys today. I hope that this was very helpful. I am exhausted. Okay. I had to come back and re-record another part of the video, so excuse me if I look a little rough. Okay. But don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. I'm really trying to get up to 1,000 followers. Y'all help a girl out. Or subscribers. What else? Oh, the sound wall I got from Natalie Lynn Kindergarten, so I will link that below. The picture kid lip cards, I got those from Tools for Reading. I'll also link that below. And I also link some other resources that I think will be helpful for you in the description box. So that's all my time. Thank you guys for watching. See you later. Bye.